Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the In the Yard podcast with your host, me and Colin Stavala. And we just went over Colin's March Madness bracket. It is Tuesday, the 14th, before the first four games. Colin just filled out his bracket. Now I'm going to go ahead and fill out my side of the bracket. And we're going to have, obviously, a lot of the picks the same. The one seeds, we expect those to go pretty far. But I'm just going to hop right into it, right? So I'm going to start in the South, like you did. Pretty easy for me to pick here. I'm going to pick Bama, regardless of if Corpus Christi and whatever that is, Southeast Missouri State or whatever it is. Bama's rolling through them regardless. I'm also going to pick... You picked West Virginia. I'm also going to pick West Virginia here. I like West Virginia as a 9 seed over the 8 seed Maryland. You kind of hit the nail on the head in your picks. Maryland just really hasn't shown me much this year from what I've seen. So I'm going to pick West Virginia there. San Diego State, Charleston. So we got a 5-12 here. And kind of the method to my madness here is there's always going to be at least one 12 seed that moved on to the round of 32. But I'm going to pick San Diego State here. And I'm going to pick a 12. I might even pick 12 seeds to beat five seeds, but here I'm going to pick San Diego State. San Diego State, from what I've seen in the analytics, is a top 15 team in the country, so that's why I'm picking them there. Virginia, Furman. Very interesting matchup. I'm picking Furman here. And I'll tell you why.
Interesting.
I'll tell you why, because...
Tell me why.
Historically, a 4 seed loses to a 13 seed every year. There's one. It always seems like there's one 13 seed that ends up beating a 4 seed. And not that I'm super high up on Furman, but I haven't heard any real talk about Virginia. If anything, I've heard only negative stuff about Virginia going into the tournament and pretty much all season. So that's why where I had to pick a 4v13 upset, I'm picking it there. Creighton, North Carolina State, I'm going to roll with Creighton like you did. Baylor versus Cal Santa Barbara. You see, I could see Santa Barbara upsetting here. But it's really hard for me to pick against Baylor. It's, like I just said with the 3 versus 14 matchup. You're going to get one, but if you get 2 14 seeds in the round of 32, that's, really rare, I feel like. So I'm going to roll with Baylor here. Missouri versus Utah, again, these 7-10 games are really tough to pick. It's basically a coin flip, but from what I've seen on Missouri, people aren't really too high on Missouri. They don't have much momentum going in. So I'm going to roll with Utah State here, and I'm going to pick Arizona here just because I think Yale is probably the better. Yale, actually going into the Ivy League tournament, was ranked higher than Princeton, and Princeton just ended up winning it. So I'm going to roll with Arizona there. In the Midwest, I'm really high up on Houston. The championship game is in Houston this year. So I'm going to roll with Houston for now, at least. Iowa, Auburn. You had Auburn going pretty far. And again, this is another 8-9. I picked the 9 over the 8 here. And I'm also going to pick the 9. I'm going to pick Auburn over Iowa as well. Yeah.
No love for the Hawkeyes? Ohio State beat them, too.
Ohio State did beat them. Yeah, and
Ohio State, I think, beat 2 teams that are in the
tournament. But you can't. But Ohio State just can't be in the tournament because they had a losing record, right?
Yeah, they were awful. They were awful all season.
They were awful.
Literally, the only way they could have even made it to the championship, the Big Ten championship, and lost to Penn State, and they still wouldn't have made the tournament. They had to win. They had to get that bid by winning the Big Ten. That's how bad they were.
They just got hot.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So, I'm going to pick Auburn there. Miami Drake. This screams 12 seed upsetting here.
Interesting.
The ACC is weak.
In my Final Four.
The ACC is weak. What is the other? Okay, so I picked San Diego State. I'm rolling. I like San Diego State there. So what's the other? 5v12. Yeah. Because I'm gonna pick St. Mary's to beat VCU. That might be that could be a toss up too. But I definitely have Duke beating Oral Roberts. So I'm gonna pick Drake here. That's gonna be my 5-12 upset.
I really hope that doesn't happen because I'll lose a lot of points if Miami doesn't make it past the first round.
Yeah, that would hurt you a lot. You also had Missouri going pretty far, I'm pretty sure, right? And I got Utah State.
Yeah, because I had. Who did Arizona play?
Arizona's playing Princeton.
Well, I had Missouri.
I think you had Missouri here and then Missouri beating Arizona, but I'm picking Utah State there.
I like the Utah State pick. I feel like they're a sleeper team. They're definitely an upset team for sure.
Okay, so now Indiana, Kent State. I picked the 4v13 here, so I'm going to have to pick Indiana. Even though I think this could be an upset. I think Kent State could be a sleeper. Not really to go far, but to upset. I could see Kent State winning this game. But because I picked Furman, I like Furman against Virginia. I'm going to have to pick Indiana here. And then Iowa State or Mississippi State or Pitt. Pitt's bad. I know that. Mississippi State I don't know anything about. So it's very hard for me to pick either one of these, so I'm going to pick Iowa State. But I'm probably going to end up picking an 11 seed to upset a 6 seed because that's pretty common as well. Xavier, Kennesaw State, I mean, I don't really know anything about either of these teams, so I'm going to have to pick Xavier. This part gets a little tricky for me.
Yes, sir.
This is a very tricky... This is probably... I'd have to... This part, this is probably... These two are probably two of the 5 most interesting games for me.
I almost picked that Colgate upset over Texas, but...
Because Colgate, of all... And, you know, from where we're from, like, the Patriot League is, like, you know, besides the Big Ten, because we have Penn State, we got Rutgers, we got Maryland all in the area. You know, the Patriot League's, right... The Patriot League's in our backyard. We got Bucknell, we got Lafayette, we got Lehigh. So... Probably of all the conferences, the Big Ten and the Patriot League are what I follow the most, right? Colgate is one of the best Colgate for sure is one of the best 3-point shooting teams in the country. But they're a 15 seed in Texas. I don't love Texas. That's why this is a tough pick for me. I have to pick Texas though.
No.
Because
I was hoping to pick Colgate there.
I don't know like what the odds are or like what the lines are for these games. But I could see this.
Yeah, I think I almost chose Colgate and then
a 2v15. It's so hard. It's so hard. Like, what are the other 2v15s? Yeah, see, like, it's so hard to pick a 2v15. Like, cause like you're obviously like gonna pick all the 1 seeds to win in the first round. Cause like it's only happened once where they happen.
It happens like once every 3 years. It seems like at least
that a 2 seed gets upset.
Yeah.
But that happened last year because Kentucky was a 2 seed and St. Peter's was a 15 seed and they went on that crazy run.
Yeah, well, that's what I mean. Like, it happens at least once every 3 years.
It could happen, but I'm going to roll with Texas there. And then this is another one. Texas A&M and Penn State. I want to pick Penn State so bad, but I want to see A&M versus Texas. I think if Texas A&M played Texas, I think that'd be such a fun game. I picked a 10 seed here. Let me see. I'm going to pick A&M.
Ooh.
I'm going to have to pick A&M there.
Nice. I like it.
I want to see Texas A&M versus Texas. I think this would be a really fun game. All right. So the East, I mean, Purdue over, I mean, Fairleigh Dickinson's terrible from what I've heard. Texas Southern, I know nothing about. They're in it every year in the first 4, I swear. But neither of them are beating Purdue. Memphis, Florida Atlantic. I could see Florida Atlantic winning this game. I'm going to pick Memphis, though. Yeah, I'm going to roll with Memphis there. Because that's an 8-9, and I picked up here. I picked 2 9s. Yeah, so I'm gonna pick the 8 there. I'm going to pick Memphis. Duke, Oral Roberts. You kind of hit the nail on the head when you talked about here. I'd love to see Oral Roberts win this game. But I don't see the Blue Devils losing. Yeah. They're hot.
I think this is the biggest challenge to Duke because I could very easily see Duke getting upset by Oral Roberts in the first round. But if they do win, I can see Duke making a little run in the Final Four.
Duke, exactly. Duke is a team that can get hot. They're a 5 seed versus a 12 seed, so you do see upsets here all the time.
Mm-hmm.
I picked San Diego State as a 5.
It's so risky picking them.
So risky. I picked San Diego State as a 5 seed, and I picked Drake as a 12 seed over Miami. So I'm going to roll with Duke there. Tennessee, Louisiana, I don't like Tennessee. A lot of people are high up on Tennessee. I'm going to pick them to win this game, though. I'm going to pick Tennessee to win that game. Kentucky, Providence. That's a 6-11. I picked Creighton. I picked Iowa. I just know nothing about Providence. I could see Kentucky being a team that could go on a little run. Because they have a good program. Mm-hmm. They're a basketball school, you know what I mean?
Right.
Like yeah, I could sure. So I'm gonna pick Kentucky there. I just purely because they're a basketball school and I know nothing about Providence. Kansas State, Montana State. See, this is an interesting one too because I know literally nothing about either of these schools. I think you said that Kansas State is a good program though.
They generally are, yeah.
Oh, man. Okay, so that's a 3v14. I have Baylor, Xavier, and then what's the 3-14 over here? Okay, I'm going to pick Gonzaga. I'm going to pick Montana State.
I could see Montana State pulling that upset off.
Because here's my logic, right? Usually when you get these 6-11, these 3-14, definitely the 7-10, when you have these matchups, there's always one of them always wins. Like the lower seed always there's always one that usually wins, right? That's why the 5-12 matchup is like the most talked about because a 12 team always makes it to the round of 32. But now we're seeing it even more with these 3-12. Kansas State as a 3, that's a tough pick. But because I'm definitely picking Gonzaga here, I'm going to pick Montana State here. I'm going to pick Michigan State over USC. And I'm definitely going to pick Marquette over Vermont. Just because I know nothing about Vermont. Marquette won the Big East. That's one of the best conferences in the country.
Right.
Kansas Howard going to roll with Jayhawks. Arkansas, Illinois, I could see that getting interesting. I'm going to pick 8-9. I picked the 9s here. Yeah, I'm going to pick Arkansas here. I could see this being a trap game. This St. Mary's VCU in the West. Oh, that's so tough. Because I don't know enough about these schools. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's there's so many. You literally have to be watching college basketball all year, like every game to like be able to pick a decent bracket.
I'm gonna pick.
But then even if you do watch those teams, like there's always a chance of them being upset anyway. So like you never know. Like you never know. You know.
Yeah, and I bet when they're waiting. When the teams are waiting to see like where they're placed in this tournament, they dread the 5 seed. Because a 5 seed is getting upset. It happens every year. I don't see Duke losing to Oral Roberts. I have San Diego State. I like San Diego State. And I picked Drake here. I'm going to pick, I already have my 5-12 upset. I'm going to pick St. Mary's here. I'm going to pick UConn here. Iona's like in the tournament every year, but they never really do anything. I think they had one year where they like almost made it to Sweet 16 or maybe even did. TCU versus Arizona State or Nevada. Yeah, I'm gonna pick Arizona State or Nevada. And if you were to ask me who win that game, it's a coin toss. It's definitely a coin toss. Yeah, I'm gonna
Playing
pick
games are always a coin toss.
And then my other, yeah. See, I picked the other 6 seed, so I'm gonna pick Arizona State or Nevada. Don't care who wins. And I'm gonna pick the Zags. I'm gonna pick. I picked Michigan State as a 7 seed there. I picked A&M and I picked Utah. The 7-10s are always a toss up though, so I'm actually gonna go Boise State here.
I think
And
I
I'm
went
gonna
with
go
Northwestern.
Yeah, I think you went with Northwestern. I'm gonna go UCLA here. Okay. So that's my first round. So now I'm gonna go South round of 32, right? Bama, West Virginia. We had the same matchup. I'm going to pick Bama here. San Diego State, Furman. Oh, that's tough. Shoot. San Diego State or Furman?
I didn't have that matchup.
I'm going to pick San Diego
and
State.
Virginia.
I like San Diego State. I'm going to pick San Diego State as a 5 seed to get to the Sweet 16. Creighton, Baylor. Creighton's a streaky team. I know that.
Mm-hmm.
Baylor won the Natty a few years ago. I'm going to take Creighton. I'm going to take Arizona. I like Arizona. And Creighton I like too. I think they're just a streaky team. Okay. Houston, Auburn, I'm going to take Houston. I think you took Auburn there. Yeah, you definitely, because you got Auburn pretty far, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Drake, Indiana. See, looking at this Drake-Indiana matchup makes me want to switch one of these. But I'm not going to do that. That's a 12v4? I'm going to pick Drake.
Dang.
I'm going to pick Drake there. Yeah. I like that. Because, here's another thing. Here's another point I'll make. I have to look across the bracket as we go. But in the Sweet 16, there's always a double-digit team that always makes the Sweet 16. Meaning like a 10th, 11th, or 12th seed makes it to the Sweet 16. That's going to be my double-digit team, I think. I'm going to roll with Drake.
That is interesting.
Iowa State or Xavier? See, again, and we talked about this last time I went through the Midwest, is this part of the bracket's really interesting.
Right.
This is a very interesting part of the bracket.
Mostly because I haven't watched any of those teams except for Penn State.
Yeah.
I watched Penn State 2 games in the Big Ten tournament.
I'm going to pick Iowa State. Is that right, though? Because, oh, man, I got a 6v3, a 6v3, and I'm picking the 6 both times? Yeah, let's do it. I'm going to pick Iowa State.
Heck yeah.
I might come back on that pick, though. That's so tough. That's going to be the one. This area is going to be what I'm going to question. And then A&M or Texas, like I said, this would be a fun game. I'm not crazy about Texas, but do I like A&M enough to pick them? No, I can't. Right?
You can, though. It's
I
March.
totally could. Oh,
this is
man,
March.
You're right. It is March. That's the thing, is I don't like Texas. They've had a weird year. That's why I question it. All right, for now I'm going to pick Texas. So that means I have a 1-5, a 1-12, a 6-2, and oh, man. I don't know. I'm going to leave that for now. I might come back to this part. The South the Midwest is definitely interesting. It's tough. All right. In the East, I'm going to go Purdue. Oh, wait.
No. Don't do it. Don't do it.
Listen, it's like a 50-50 shot that all the 1 seeds make it to the Elite 8, right?
Yeah.
Give me Memphis.
I'm
Give me an upset. Give me
I'm not going to give
Memphis.
you my thoughts on that.
Give me Memphis.
See, for me personally, if I were to choose an 8-1 upset, it would be over there, Arkansas, Kansas.
I might pick the 8 there too.
Oh, going double down the 8-1.
I don't know. All right. Yeah, this is getting tough. This is why we love March.
Does.
Duke, Tennessee. I'm rolling with Duke. Like I said, I picked Tennessee here, but I'm not huge on Tennessee. I could see Duke, like you said, if you get past Oral Roberts, that's kind of a big test because you're a 5 seed. The world's gonna want Oral Roberts to win that game. If you give Duke a little momentum, I could see them making a little run. Kentucky, Montana State.
That was my theory, yeah.
Kentucky, Montana State. I'm going to go Kentucky. Like I said, I could see Kentucky making a little run. I just don't know enough about Montana State. Michigan State, Marquette. Big Ten versus Big East. A lot of people are high up on Marquette. I was really high up on Marquette from what I saw. But because everyone's high up on Marquette, it makes me not want to pick Marquette. But I'm still going to pick Marquette here.
That's a tough one.
Yeah, that's a tough one. If that's a matchup, if we get Michigan State Marquette, that's going to be a good game to watch. Kansas Arkansas. Yeah, I'm not big on Kansas either this year. They won it last year. I don't want to go back on my Purdue pick.
When was the last time there was a back-to-back champion?
That's a great question.
Has there even ever been one?
I'm sure it's probably happened once.
I'll look it up right now.
Kansas or Arkansas? I'm going to come back to that one because I'm going to pick UConn against St. Mary's. I'm going to pick Gonzaga against either Arizona State or Nevada. And I'm picking UCLA. As much as I'd like to see Boise State, I really like UCLA this year. Kansas, Arkansas. I'm going to pick Kansas over Arkansas. Yeah. I'm going to take Kansas over Arkansas. That's tough though, cuz I could see Memphis winning and I could see Arkansas winning. I just can't see I think Bama and Houston are definite locks at 1 to make it to the Elite 8. Yeah, I'm cool with this. All right. Has it ever happened? Okay. Yeah, so it's been a minute. Has it happened in the past 30 years? Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. That's fair. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Ooh, interesting. Staying in the north. Okay, so wow, that's crazy. Yeah, that's when they were nasty. I remember. Yeah. Okay, so yeah. So no teams ever won 3 in a row. So maybe Oh yeah, UCLA. That's right. Yeah, because they won 6 in a row. Yeah. Okay. So now I'm in the Sweet 16. Bama, San Diego State, I'm going to pick Bama. Creighton, Arizona, I'm going to pick Arizona. Kind of my logic here when I get to the Final Four is you can really only have it, you can get, in the Final Four, 2 1 seeds, and then, a 2 seed, and then you get, a 4 or 5, or you get 1 2 seed, or 1 1 seed, 1 2 seed, 1 3 or 4 seed, and then, a Cinderella, right? So I'm going to have the 1-2s here. So I'm going to have Bama, Arizona. I'm going to have Houston beating Drake. Oh, man. Iowa State or Texas? The thing is I was never high up on Texas. Can I have them getting all the way to the Elite Eight? Yeah, this is complicated. I'm going to roll with Texas for now. Yeah, I'm gonna pick. I think if A&M wins this game, I'll put them in the Elite Eight. I would, but I'm gonna pick Texas here. That's fine because that's fine, right? Because this part of the bracket, it gets such a mess here. Duke, Memphis. I did say that I could see Duke going on a little run, but I think it ends here. I think Memphis gets the Elite Eight. Kentucky, Marquette. I want Marquette, but I also like Kentucky. Nah, give me Marquette. Give me Marquette here. That's a crazy matchup in the Elite Eight. And then give me UConn over Kansas. So there goes the 1 seed. And give me UCLA over Gonzaga. So then, my Elite Eight, Alabama, Arizona. That's probably would be one of the best games of the tournament. And I'm going to pick Arizona. I'm going to pick the Wildcats as a 2 seed to get to the Final Four. And I'm also going to pick Houston over Texas. Down here, Marquette and Memphis. And UConn and UCLA. Tough. Give me UConn over UCLA. Memphis or Marquette. Memphis would be such a Cinderella story if they got all the way to the Final Four. Okay, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to pick Marquette. So I'm going to have a 1 seed, 2 seeds, and a 4 seed. I think that's fair. This is just a mess. The Midwest. Okay? So my Final Four, I got Arizona versus Marquette. I'm going to pick Arizona. And then Houston versus UConn, I'm going to pick Houston. And I'm going to pick Houston to win it.
Wow.
Championship in Houston. I mentioned that earlier, that the championship game is at NRG Stadium. I'm going to pick Houston. And I'm going to make it 74-70. Yeah.
Interesting. I think I have Houston losing the first or second round.
Yeah, I think you have them losing to Auburn here. But the question is, this is tough here. Because I could see Penn State beating A&M. I'm just gonna lock it in. I'm fine with this because Texas is a 2 seed. This is where my bracket's gonna bust though, big time. I think I could see this getting very messy very quick. So I'm gonna lock it in. I'm happy with my picks. So I'm gonna lock in Houston as a 1 seed.
There it is.
To win it all. So
nice.
you had Bama as a 1 seed, and I got Houston as a 1 seed, winning it all.
I like it. Well, if either of us have the perfect bracket, we could agree to split the money.
Yeah, we'll split the money.
We'll invest in the pod.
Yeah, we'll
all
invest
money
in the
will
pod
be invested in the yard pod.
Yeah, and maybe we'll be able to do a ton of giveaways then, because you win millions of dollars if you had a perfect bracket. So I got Houston. Collins got Bama. Very different Final Four. We had a lot of the same picks, but then we diverted a lot. You had Missouri, you had Houston out early. I had
There's
Memphis
so many
going pretty
different
far.
outcomes.
You weren't. It didn't seem like you were too crazy about my Memphis Purdue pick. You like Purdue. You're high up on
I do.
Purdue.
I like Purdue in the early round, but I think once they get to that like a little bit better competition, then it's going to come back to hurt them.
Yeah, and I think that the three best teams in the tournament, in my opinion, maybe four. I'll give you four. Right here, are my four. I think Bama and Houston are definitely 1 and 2. You could put them interchangeably. So we picked, in my opinion, the two best teams. Right. I think UCLA is really good. I think UCLA is probably the third best team in the tournament, and I really like UConn. So
Okay.
that's my pick. I got University of Houston, the Cougars winning it all, and you've got the Crimson Tide winning it all. 2 1 seeds, probably the two best teams in the tournament. But we'll see. The tournament starts today, but all the games really begin on Thursday. So we'll see.
Right. Cool. Well,
Awesome.
thank you, Braeden, for giving us your input on that. I'm sure our viewers will definitely take notes. I like your strategy. I like how you look at the seedings and what you have based on the seedings.
Yeah, because you're always going to get one or two five.
I like that.
You're always going to get at least one or two 5v12 upsets. You're more likely than not going to get a 3v14 upset. Once you get to like the 7-10, the 9 or the 6-11, like you're gonna get upsets there. It's just the hardest ones to pick are those ones, but the ones that always break the brackets is like you said, like the team like St. Peter's beating Kentucky last year 2v15. Like it's just very hard to predict one of those because like we said, like we could see Colgate, one of the best 3-point shooting teams in the country, beating a Texas, then my bracket's completely screwed. So we'll see.
All right, thanks everyone for listening. We're out of time here, so let's wrap it up here. Thank you for listening, and we hope your bracket does well.
Yep, thank you.